In a world filled with challenges and hardships, many of us find ourselves grappling with suffering that seems to persist despite our efforts to overcome it. Why does this suffering continue? What are the underlying reasons that keep us in this cycle of pain and struggle? Today, we delve into the depths of human experience to uncover the hidden forces that may be at play, keeping us locked in a state of suffering. Join us as we explore the 8 reasons why your suffering persists. But first, please subscribe to our channel to stay updated with us. Like the video and share it with your friends to change their lives. Reason 1. Unresolved trauma. Unresolved trauma, like an invisible spectre, can haunt our present and dictate our future. The echoes of past pain reverberate through our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, shaping our perception of the world. These unresolved wounds, buried deep within the recesses of our psyche, continue to exert their influence, often without our conscious awareness. The scars left by trauma serve as a constant reminder of our vulnerability and the fragility of our inner world. Without proper healing and resolution, these wounds fester and manifest in various forms of suffering, coloring our interactions and experiences with a tinge of unspoken anguish. As time passes, the unresolved trauma acts as an anchor, weighing down the spirit and clouding the horizon of possibilities. Each memory, each trigger, becomes a thread connecting the past to the present, weaving a tapestry of pain and sorrow. The inability to confront and process these experiences traps the individual of a perpetual cycle of reliving past traumas, unable to break free from the chains of their own history. The unhealed wounds of the past seep into every facet of life, coloring relationships, decisions, and self-perception with a shade of melancholy. The unresolved trauma acts as a silent orchestrator, directing the symphony of emotions and thoughts with a somber undertone. Without resolution, the pain lingers like a shadow, casting a pall over even the brightest moments, tainting joy with a touch of sorrow. Reason 2. Negative belief patterns. Negative belief patterns, deeply ingrained in the tapestry of our minds, weave a narrative of self-doubt and limitation. These insidious thoughts, like venomous vines, entwine themselves around our self-image, distorting reality and coloring our perceptions. The seeds of negativity planted long ago bear fruit in the form of self-sabotage and diminished self-worth. These toxic beliefs, left unchallenged, create a breeding ground for suffering, feeding off our insecurities and fears. As negative belief patterns take root, they form a dense canopy that obscures the light of positivity and potential. The echoes of self-criticism reverberate through the mind, drowning out the whispers of self-compassion and empowerment. These distorted perceptions act as a filter through which we view ourselves and the world, distorting reality and perpetuating a cycle of suffering. The roots of negative belief patterns run deep, anchoring themselves in the soil of our subconscious minds. The tendrils of self-doubt reach out, constricting our potential and stifling our growth. The weight of these beliefs presses down on the spirit, casting a shadow of doubt over our abilities and worthiness. Breaking free from the grip of these destructive patterns requires a journey of self-discovery and transformation. Reason 3. Fear of change. Fear of change, like a spectre looming on the horizon, holds us captive in the realm of familiarity, shielding us from the unknown. The comfort of routine and predictability becomes a safety net, cocooning us in a bubble of sameness. The mere thought of stepping into uncharted territory sends ripples of anxiety through our being, triggering a primal response to retreat into the safety of what we know. This fear, though subtle, exerts a powerful influence on our decisions and actions, keeping us tethered to the shores of stagnation. The fear of change acts as a silent sentinel, guarding the gates to transformation and new beginnings. The walls of resistance erected by this fear create barriers to progress and growth, trapping us in a cycle of inertia. The comfort of the known becomes a prison, stifling our potential and suffocating our dreams. Embracing change requires courage, a willingness to step into the abyss of uncertainty with faith in the journey ahead. The fear of change, though daunting, is a threshold to transformation and renewal. Embracing the unknown opens doors to new experiences, perspectives, and opportunities for growth. The cocoon of comfort begins to feel constricting, urging us to break free and spread our wings in the vast expanse of possibility. Change, though intimidating, is the catalyst for evolution and self-discovery. Reason 4. External validation. The pursuit of external validation, like a mirage in the desert of self-worth, leads us down a path of dependency on others' opinions for our sense of value. This relentless quest for approval and recognition from external sources becomes a double-edged sword, offering fleeting moments of validation while eroding our inner sense of self-esteem. The insatiable hunger for validation from others becomes a relentless cycle, where our worth is contingent upon the approval of those around us. This dependence on external validation creates a fragile self-concept, vulnerable to the whims of external judgment and validation. The allure of external validation casts a spell of illusion, distorting our perception of self-worth and identity. The applause and recognition from others act as temporary salve on the wounds of insecurity, masking the deeper need for self-acceptance and self-love. The reliance on external validation creates a feedback loop of seeking approval externally, leading to a cycle of diminishing self-worth and authentic self-expression. The addiction to external validation becomes a prison of our own making, confining us to the narrow confines of others' expectations and judgments. The fear of rejection and disapproval looms large, dictating our choices and actions to align with external standards of success and worthiness. The shackles of external validation bind us to a cycle of seeking approval at the cost of our true selves, stifling our authenticity and stifling our creativity. Reason 5. Lack of self-compassion. Lack of self-compassion forms a chasm within our souls, where the echoes of self-criticism reverberate, drowning out the whispers of self-kindness. The absence of gentleness towards oneself creates a void that no external validation can fill. The harsh inner critic becomes a relentless companion, pointing out flaws and shortcomings with unwavering precision. Without the warmth of self-compassion, we navigate the world with a heavy heart burdened by self-judgment, unable to extend the same grace to ourselves that we readily offer to others. Embracing self-compassion is not a luxury, but a necessity for navigating the complexities of human existence with kindness and understanding. The lack of self-compassion erects barriers to self-acceptance and self-love, creating a rift between who we are and who we aspire to be. The inability to forgive ourselves for our perceived mistakes and imperfections becomes a heavy burden, weighing down the spirit with guilt and shame. The cycle of self-blame perpetuates a cycle of suffering, feeding into the narrative of unworthiness and inadequacy. The journey towards self-compassion is a path of healing and transformation, where the wounds of self-criticism are replaced with the balm of self-kindness. Embracing our vulnerabilities and imperfections with compassion allows us to embrace our humanity with grace and acceptance. The gentle touch of self-compassion soothes the wounds of the past and paves the way for a future filled with self-love and understanding. Reason 6. Attachment to the past. The grip of attachment to the past is a powerful force that anchors us to bygone memories and experiences, trapping us in a cycle of nostalgia and regret. The tendrils of the past reach out, entwining themselves around our present moments, constraining our ability to fully embrace the possibilities of the future. The comfort of familiarity offered by the past becomes a double-edged sword, providing solace in the known while hindering our capacity to let go and move forward. The weight of unresolved emotions and unfulfilled dreams from the past creates a shadow that looms over our present, obscuring the light of new beginnings and fresh opportunities. The attachment to the past acts as a filter through which we view the present, distorting our perceptions and coloring our experiences with the hues of yesteryears. The ghosts of past relationships and past selves linger in the corridors of memory, whispering tales of what-ifs and could-have-beens. The inability to release the grip of the past stifles our growth and evolution, keeping us tethered to a version of ourselves that no longer serves our highest good.
The attachment to the past becomes a barrier to present moment awareness and future potential, clouding our vision with the mists of what once was. The reluctance to release the grip of nostalgia and regret keeps us imprisoned in a time capsule, preventing us from fully engaging with the richness of the present. Letting go of the past requires courage and a willingness to embrace the uncertainties of the future with an open heart and a clear mind.
Reason 7. Resistance to acceptance. Resistance to acceptance, like a fortress built on the grounds of denial, shields us from the discomfort of acknowledging reality in its rawest form. The walls of resistance stand tall, barricading us from the vulnerability of embracing what is, regardless of our desires or expectations. The refusal to accept the present moment as it unfolds creates a chasm between our idealized perceptions and the gritty truth of existence. This resistance becomes a barrier to growth and transformation, keeping us stuck in a loop of denial and avoidance that impedes our capacity to cultivate inner peace and resilience. The resistance to acceptance manifests as a shield of armor that deflects the arrows of truth and vulnerability, creating a false sense of security in the face of discomfort. The refusal to acknowledge reality as it is leads to a cycle of inner turmoil and external conflict, as the discord between perception and truth widens. Embracing acceptance requires dismantling the walls of resistance brick by brick, opening ourselves to the rawness of life with courage and humility. The resistance to acceptance becomes a prison of our own making, confining us to the narrow confines of denial and avoidance. The fear of facing reality head-on keeps us trapped in a cycle of suffering, as the refusal to accept what is creates a breeding ground for inner conflict and external chaos. Breaking free from the chains of resistance requires a willingness to let go of illusions and embrace the truth with an open heart and a clear mind. Reason 8. Disconnect from self and others. The abyss of disconnect from self and others engulfs us in a sea of isolation, where the tides of loneliness and alienation erode the shores of connection. The fracture within ourselves mirrors the chasms that separate us from those around us, creating a sense of dissonance and disconnection. The inability to truly know and understand ourselves breeds a sense of emptiness that reverberates in our interactions with others, leading to superficial relationships and a lack of authentic connection. The echoes of solitude resonate in the chambers of our hearts, yearning for the bridge that reconnects us to ourselves and to the world beyond. The disconnect from self and others creates a rift that widens with each passing moment, as the gulf between who we are and who we present to the world deepens. The masks we wear to hide our true selves become barriers to genuine connection, fostering a sense of isolation and misunderstanding in our interactions. The yearning for authenticity and vulnerability remains unfulfilled, as the fear of rejection and judgment keeps us imprisoned in a fortress of pretense and superficiality. The disconnect from self and others breeds a sense of disorientation and dislocation, as the threads of connection fray and unravel in the tapestry of relationships. The yearning for intimacy and understanding remains unfulfilled, as the barriers of distrust and fear keep us at arm's length from those who seek to connect with us. Rebuilding the bridges of connection as a willingness to open our hearts and minds to the vulnerability of authentic relationship and the richness of human connection. As we journey through the labyrinth of suffering, may we find solace in the knowledge that understanding the reasons behind our pain is the first step towards liberation. By confronting these hidden forces and embracing change, we can pave the way for a brighter, more fulfilling future. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the 8 reasons why your suffering persists. Remember, you are not alone in your struggles, and there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and see you in the next video.